Alright, what's going on YouTube? I just want to give a little review on my new bike, which is a 2014 Kawasaki Ninja 650. I got it brand new. It was a leftover model from last year. I've had it for about 3 weeks now. Have about 1,000 miles on it. So now that I've have some time riding it, I thought I'd give my opinion on it for anybody who's thinking about getting one, just so you know what the deal is. Just so you know, I stepped up from a Ninja 250, which I rode for about 6 months, and felt it was about time for me to upgrade. So this is a very versatile bike. It's a very practical bike for someone like me who uses it as a commuter and as a toy. It's a load of fun. It's got power for fucking days, man. Alright, let me go ahead and start her up, and just so you can take a look at it, it's a pretty good looking bike. It looks like a sport bike. I mean, it's classified as a sport bike. And the only mods I've done so far is I've plasti dipped the windscreen. I did a fender eliminator kit, little DMP fender eliminator kit on the back to take that ugly whale tail off. But so yeah, it looks like a sport bike, but the experience is a bit different when you sit on it. The seat's very comfortable. The rear sets are a little lower than they normally would be on, say, a Super Sport like a ZX6 or a CBR 600, something like that. And the handlebars, these are the big difference. It doesn't have clip-ons. It has regular handlebars, as you can see, and they're quite higher and not as swept back. Like a Super Sport handlebars would be down here and like swept back towards the tank, so you'd be holding on this way, but instead you're up here. It's comfortable, don't get me wrong, and depending on your style of riding, you might want to keep them, or you might want to get Aftermarket Clip-Ons, which you can get from ninja650shop.com or Revzilla. I'm sure a couple other websites probably have them. So, like I said, two good things about this bike. It's comfortable, it's practical, it's forgiving still. Don't let the displacement size fool you. It's a 650, but it's not an inline 4 like a ZX6 or other Super Sports. It's a parallel twin, so that makes it behave a little differently. You notice the red line is only 11. It's 11,000 RPMs. If you were on a Super Sport, it would be something more like 16 or 18,000 RPMs. And the reason for that is that on Super Sports, they don't have that much torque down low. You have to get to like 7, 8, 9,000 RPMs before it really starts to take off. On a twin, such as this, you have about the same amount of torque at 2,000 RPMs as you would at 9,000. So you kind of always know what to expect. It's a little more user-friendly for someone less experienced like myself. But it's still really fun. The fact that it's torquey at low RPMs makes it really easy to get the front end up. I'm gonna do a video on that not too long from now, kind of on the trials and tribulations of learning to wheelie. But anyway, back to the subject. So yeah, this is a bike more for somebody who, like I said, wants something practical, a daily driver kind of thing. If you're buying a bike mainly for the track, you probably don't want to get this bike. If you want a bike where you're just gonna strictly like ride the speed limit and not really, not open the throttle and have any fun on turns and stuff like that, if that's your style, then this probably wouldn't be the bike for you either. You'd probably be better off with something like, you know, some of the more standard motorcycles, like some of the naked bikes and stuff like that. I'm still not that well versed in the different types of motorcycles. But the fact that the power delivery is very linear across the rev range makes this very beginner friendly. So you right off the bat, you have the same acceleration no matter where you are. But just because it's good for beginners, that doesn't mean that it's not any fun. You can have fun whenever you want. This has plenty of power. Just to compare it, for those who don't know, if you were in a race with a ZX6 or a CBR 600, you'd probably take off the line, you'd be faster. But once you guys got to about 80 or 90 miles an hour, then the Super Sport would start to take the upper hand. So it's kind of like the same concept as if you're tuning an engine. Like, you want more top end, you have to sacrifice on the low end. It's just kind of a give and take. But see that? I'm already at 60 miles an hour, and I started at what, like 15? Hopefully that gives you an example of the power that this has. I'm not going to do any wheelies right now. This isn't the right place. But anyways, yeah, if you can find a good deal on a used, the price on this is another good thing. It doesn't have quite as many options as far as, you know, bells and whistles as some of its competitors, but it was very cheap. It's about, you'd probably be able to get it about $9 grand out the door if it was brand new, 2015. Like I said, I got a 2014 model, and it was $71 out the door. They took about $2,000 off. The instrument, I like the instrument cluster. It's got the tach and the speedometer right in the middle, a digital fuel gauge, and you've got 2 trip timers, a regular odometer, average miles to the gallon, real-time miles to the gallon, and your range, how many miles you can go on your current tank of gas. You can change that all with this button right there. One downside, if you want this to be a sport bike, you might want to consider changing the handlebars, which I plan on doing, hopefully sooner rather than later. Like I said, not that these are uncomfortable, but they're just not ideal for allowing you to throw your weight around in corners the proper way. Also, the brakes seem to be a little soft. I feel like they could bite a little harder, the stock brakes. So maybe a brake pad upgrade would be in line. The tires, the Dunlops that come on them, I think it's got a 160 in the front and a 120 a 160 in the rear, 120 in the front. They're surprisingly grippy for stock tires. The gearbox is pretty smooth. From what I hear, twins are generally kind of jerky, and this really isn't bad at all. I don't know what kind of oil the shop put in it. I don't know if it comes with like Japanese oil in the box. But it actually got much smoother once I changed the oil after 600 miles. But yeah, overall, there's not really much wrong with this bike. The mirrors, you have a little bit of trouble seeing behind you. Kind of the same deal with the Ninja 250. It's not quite as bad, but it's still a bit of a problem. The windscreen does a great job when I'm at highway speeds. I feel like the wind kind of hits me right about where my face mask is. Yeah, it's adjustable. You can move it up. So yeah, great bike. If you can find a good deal on one, I think you'd be really happy with it if you want to use it for the same purpose that I did. So anyway, that's about it. Hope you guys got something out of it, and have a good Christmas.